Alright, so I showed you, I think in the last video, the interior was all framed up. And I was just inspecting the roof again. We got a pretty good rain shower last night. Thunderstorm rolled through and dumped quite a bit of water in a short period of time. So I was curious to see how my repairs have held out through that. I've had this closed up now for a couple days, but I've been kind of trying to watertight it around the windows, and I also got some new trim to go on here. I haven't put it on yet. I did where I had to cut the roof across to take the panel down. I have this called ProForce aluminum repair tape. I picked this up at Home Depot. It's aluminum. They say it's got a reflective cover, but it's actually rubber membrane under here that's self-sticks to any clean surface. Works pretty well. So I'm real happy with the outcome of that. I may end up redoing this whole roof at some point. I'm not sure. It's in not bad shape, as far as I can see anyway. Somebody's tried to coat it once already, so I'm not sure if that was because there was other issues or what was going on, but I've checked it over pretty well, and so far, like I said, after the big rain last night, everything seems to be dry inside. I'm going to take you, show you down here. Oh, nice to see all the windows work anyway. I got everything shut down. We got hit with a quick thunderstorm, just rolled through, and once again, I think I passed the water test after spending a couple more hours outside this morning. But now I am ready to start putting in my paneling. I've cut my first piece of plastic, and what I've got here is a oversized piece for this panel down at the bottom that's going to go down here. By oversized, I mean I measured it a little bigger than that panel because I'm going to staple it up in place temporarily and make my final pattern. At least that's my hope. Let's see how this works out here. I'm going to put the camera down for a minute, get this stapled up, and then I'll go ahead and start trimming it out. All right. So I'm just using a plain paper stapler for this. I don't want anything heavy duty. I don't want to have to deal with staples left over after I pull it out. So I'm just going to use this light duty paper stapler, which opens up, allows me to get in there tight spots, and hopefully I can just staple it up in a few places until I get my final cut. I get the first piece of plastic up. So what I did is I measured just a little taller and a little wider than I knew I would need, so I can come back, and now I'm just going to use my razor knife and trim along where the panel is going to end. At least that's my hope. And then I can take this pattern down. It's only stapled up there with 4 staples, really, one in each corner. House paper stapler, so it's nothing heavy duty. My hope is I can get the pattern I need out of this. We're going to give it a try and see how it comes out. Last video I was talking about doing the paneling on the inside. You can see I've got a couple pieces up here, and my plan at the time was to try and take some plastic, because I can take measurements all day long, but these walls are going to be, you know, after they've been rebuilt, these panels I need for these walls in one piece, it would just be, I tried to sit down and do the measurements, you know, try to do it kind of freestyle, I guess you'd say, where I just measured the whole thing and measured my distances. But you can see it's, you know, it gets pretty complicated when you get up here, and then, you know, how far do you cut it over here? So my plan was to take some plastic, kind of make a pattern, and use that pattern to trace out my Luan. The plastic didn't work too well because it wasn't quite stiff enough and it flexed too much. So when I made my cut, it just was way too far off. But I had this other material. This is like a house wrap type of material here. Perma. It's kind of stiffer, a little bit stiffer material, and it doesn't have any give, so it won't stretch. and this worked out really well. I ended up taking a piece of this and making a pattern for this side here and stapled it up with my little home stapler, paper stapler, and then went about just cutting it out with a razor knife, utility knife. And once I had it, I traced it out onto the Luan. I had to make several little minor adjustments as I was installing it, but all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. It fits in there real well, and unfortunately I can't use this pattern over here. As I said, they're two different, even though they're identical walls, the measurements are totally different. I already tried fitting this piece on the other wall and on this side over here, and there's just no way. It's totally different, which is no problem. Those are the worst two pieces I have to make, and I've got one done now. So I've also got the bottom piece on here. I did that in two pieces, and I've also got a piece up on the top here. So basically I've got this middle piece to do, this wall here, and the ceiling. All right, so I tried the plastic, and the plastic was just too flexible. It wasn't giving me good measurements, so I switched over to this. It's kind of like a house wrap kind of material, so it's a little more rigid, and I think it gives me much better measurements. And a little difficult to cut still. You know, like I said, I just stapled it in places to kind of hold it in place and trace it out as a pattern. All in all, doesn't look too bad. We're going to give this a try. So you can see kind of hard to cut some of the spaces here. I know I've got a gap in here and a gap down at the bottom here. So, I'd rather make it a little bigger and oversized and then trim it up as I need to so I have a good fit. But basically that's the right side wall panel right there. And I'm going to trace that out, and obviously that was the window. And we're going to try cutting that out and see how it fits. Okay, got that panel put in. I try to compensate. If I'm going to make a mistake, I'm going to make it a little bit on the small side so that I don't overcut, and that requires sometimes that I pull it out a few more times to make some final adjustments around the edges and whatnot. But it's fairly easy to cut, Luan, so it goes pretty quick, and you can even use a razor knife sometimes. But that'll work for now. That looks pretty good right there. I think what I'm going to try to do next is the ceiling. Get the ceiling put up, and the last piece will be this piece in the front here. But this one ought to be interesting. I'm just thinking I'm going to try and do it in one piece. That's going to be a challenge, but I'm up for it. We'll see if I can get this out in one piece, and that would be nice. All right, I think probably just take a pattern from here. All right, there it is. We've got the roof panel up, the mid-wall panel up, right? But not bad, pretty happy. Gonna let Brenda come in here, we'll clean it up, and I think she wanted to throw a little paint on it before, because I'm not putting the paneling up just yet. She's over here.
Hi, having fun.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna clean up, and I'm gonna put that light up now. The fan works. A little loud. Takes a couple minutes to get up to speed too. It's probably pretty old and not working just perfectly, but yeah, good enough for what it is. Just suck some air out of here. So we got the nose all done. Brenda just finished painting it. Hopefully you can hear me over the noise of that fan. So we got everything in here, got it painted, and we're ready to use it. We're gonna go try it out, and if we see any issues or have any problems, we can deal with them when we get back. For right now, it's usable. It's it's done. 2 weeks, took me 2 weeks. And I also just verified that everything else in the camper is working. The water pump works. The water is an 18-gallon water tank under here, full of water, no leaks. That works. I turned on the propane, verified that the 2-burner stove works. Also verified that the furnace works. And I am currently verifying that the refrigerator is working off of DC. And you can see this fridge. I was told that, and I believe it's true, that it's a newer style fridge, a newer fridge. So it's got the AC, LP, AC, LP, and it's also got a DC option. I'm not sure if that's functional or not, and auto. I assume the auto means, I haven't read the book on this yet, so I'm assuming the auto means whatever's available. AC being the first option because it's plugged into the house right now. Temperature setting. So far it seems to be working. I'm not going to open it up because we're trying to chill it down, verify that the propane is currently working. If it is, then we know we can, we're going to run it for an hour or two, and if we know it's working, then we'll shut it off and save the propane, plug it back into the AC. Or it is plugged into the AC, but we'll turn it back to AC and get it up to temperature. It's going to be, we're going to hopefully get this loaded into the truck tomorrow. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I even verified that the toilet works. Flushed it, water, everything's good. And I think Brenda's coming in with some ice. Water.